Son got the size, boy.
Yeah.
You're so lazy.
You AJB? Sounds good.
Johnny on the track. You already know who it is, TMG. Been out here doing this here many moons now. Let's go there. I had to get it on my own since I was 13. Had a few rest dreams. Had to dig deep. Had to find a warrior within me. Yeah. The bottom where I come from. So I know what the struggle like. Obstacles I've overcome. Living the trouble life. Yeah. Everything we go through, we supposed to. It's just a part of life. Yeah. Everyone who meets you, you're supposed to. Wrong or right, yeah. Every day's another day to build a better you and a better life.
Welcome to the Wrong Indian Podcast.
Native Americans of all trades, masters of none.
What does that mean? While we have a lot to say, we are not the experts.
But we talk to the experts on a variety of issues.
I'm Kenrick, Escalanti.
I'm Brittany Schulman.
I'm Honeybee Marie.
And this is the Wrong Indian Podcast.
Welcome back to Wrong Indian Podcast Season 4, Episode 1. I'm Honeybee Marie from the Navajo Nation. Are you ready? Well, let's go then.
Students! My name's Brittany Schulman. I'm Wakamasuan. So excited, guys. We are back at it again.
Huitz kamadum ventiv amai tadits kwatsan imamulik. Hey everybody, my name is Kenrick Escalanti, and my traditional name given to me by my elders is Hale, and we are excited. We are Native Americans of all trades, masters of none. We are the Wrong Indians. But before we get into our segment, Brittany has a huge announcement for us.
We want to welcome back to the show a friend of the podcast, someone who's been here every season, our friend and yours, Dr. Lee Francis, number 4. Woo!
Every season, it feels like it was just yesterday that we got started. This is fantastic. No, so just really thrilled to be able to announce with all of y'all that are here that Wrong Indian Podcast is now going to be a part of A Tribe Called Geek. We're going to launch the upcoming season here in October, coming up on our platform, starting out for the first episode, which will be launching, and then you'll be able to get it that week, and then I think the following Saturday on the Wrong Indian platform. But you're going to be able to see all the exclusives on our Tribe Called Geek, ATCG, atribecalledgeek.com. You can see all the next season will be launching with us. So it is super exciting. I'm so thrilled to be able to have this and to have this connection and this collaboration, and I hope that we're going to be rocking and rolling for this whole season and many seasons to come.
That was great news. We're so excited. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, A Tribe Called Geek, and we're really excited about this partnership. And again, make sure you guys are going to atribecalledgeek.com, get all our exclusive Wrong Indian Podcast content, and once you're done there, come right back to the Wrong Indian Podcast platforms. You can find us at thewrongindianpodcast.com and all social media handles at Wrong Indian. So let's get right into one of our favorite segments that we've been doing for years. What are we watching? Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hi. So what are we watching?
Well, right now, like, if you're not sleeping under a rock, Indian country is watching Reservation Dogs. Actually, the world is watching Reservation Dogs.
Probably rewatching it, which I've been doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. By the time you're watching our episode 1, Reservation Dogs should be ending, and you guys all should be blown away. Maybe we're crying. Maybe we're laughing. Maybe we're rejoicing. Who knows? All I know for a guarantee is that season 2 will be coming back next year.
Whoop, whoop.
So we're going to talk specifically about episode 4, What About Your Dad? But before we get into it, let's talk about Reservation Dogs from the co-creators and executive producers Sterling Harjo and Taika Waititi. Reservation Dogs is a half-hour comedy that follows the exploits of 4 Indigenous teenagers in rural Oklahoma who steal, rob, and save in order to get to the exotic, mysterious, faraway land of California.
Yeah, Reservation Dogs has native rappers, catfish, indigenous superstitions, and spirits, both hilarious and terrifying. There are tears, laughter, unexpected grandmothers, decent people, terrible people, and a whole lot of supporting characters who color and shade the vibrant world that is Reservation Dogs.
Filmed on location in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. I hope some of my sisters out in Oklahoma will not come for me for that. Reservation Dogs is a breakthrough in Indigenous representation on television, both in front of and behind the camera. Every writer, director, and series regular on the show is Indigenous. Amazing. This first of its kind creative team tells a story that resonates with them and their lived experience and invites audiences in a surprising, familiar, and funny world.
So
Who wouldn't connect with that?
Absolutely. I mean, and I think that's what I love about it. I love that when I'm watching it, it literally is I'm watching myself. Like, you know, there's parts of that show that really just resonate with my childhood. But more specifically, we're talking about episode 4. And so episode 4 is What About Your Dad? And so the description of the show is the town gets ready for Bear's rapper father to come into town and perform at the local IHS conference. I'll just start with like just the whole concept, the idea that this is taking place at an IHS conference. And the way episode 4 starts, it starts with greasy fry bread. And it plays, you know, the music video, Greasy Fry Bread, and then it goes right into the IHS clinic where they're having like a staff meeting, and they're just like, and we're bringing him, and we're gonna bring all the fry bread. They're gonna be as big as your head, mind you.
At
IHS.
a IHS diabetes conference. Let's remember, for those of you who don't know, fry bread is not actually a traditional food. It is a collaboration of colonized ingredients that we created in various forms, and is also not the best thing to eat, especially if you have diabetes. So let's start there. And the fact that the director's like, all the fry bread, we're going to have it all. It's going to be amazing. And yeah, it just tickled me so much.
And who hasn't been to a diabetes conference with fry bread serving and just loaded with sugar, honey? You know, that is definitely a conference I have attended recently. I mean, with the little panini, you know what I mean?
I gotta tell y'all this true story. True story. So we used to host interns who came from different countries and different places around the world. And this one young lady, she was vegan. And legit, I told that to one of our elders, and she said, well, I said, so when you're fixing food, because we always feed, I was like, when you're fixing food, and in case y'all don't know, Southern cuisine, fine Southern cuisine, all the vegetables are cooked with pork grease, lard, fat back. I mean, all of it is laden. It's delicious. So I'm explaining that, you know, when you're cooking your vegetables, just think of this poor little vegan girl. She said, oh, that's fine, honey. I'll get some lamb. It'll be great. Literally, I just was like, oh, okay. Well, I'll just tell her. Poor vegan girl. But anyway.
Look, you know what? And, you know, no no disrespect to any IHS workers. You guys are all doing great things. We all know that you have great purpose for what you're doing for our communities. But you know, sometimes stereotypes are true. You know, like I know I've had a conference, or not even a conference, just an IHS gathering or some sort of event back home, and they're serving fry bread. Not only are they serving fry bread, but there's a watermelon eating contest down the road, down the side. You know, they're doing their soda chugs for the kids. You know, they're chugging on the orange drink and the Red Crush, and yeah. And let's not forget the community, usually the community dinner that goes with it afterwards. You know, so look, man, that episode is just, like, brilliant. And so what it really does is introduce Bear's father. And Bear's father is Punkin Lusty. And so, like, let's get into that.
First of all, the fact he had baby mama number 2 on his phone.
Oh my God.
I just cracked up. I said, oh my gosh. Also, okay, so this is only number 2.
For me, I just love that opening scene, right, of him and you think like, oh, okay, he's kicking it at the beach, he's like this big baller, and it's like his wallpaper at wherever he's at. I don't even know if like that's his place, but he's sitting there and he's eating like Tupperware bowl of cereal, and then that's when Bear's mom calls him, and that's our first introduction to Punkin. Paula, what was your take on it?
Let's just say, I think that Reservation Dogs is remarkable with all the stereotypes, and it's bad. I know that, but some of the things like it's so like a person in your family. If it's not your cousin who's the native rapper who is over there, living it up, and thinking that they're this big thing, right? And then they have how many baby mamas and whatnot. It's like, oh, that's my cousin. He lives right down the road from me. You know what I mean?
So we cannot go past this episode though without talking about the beautiful beadwork from Auntie B. I am impressed. Her wall of medallions was amazing.
Aren't all rappers into pickles?
No, spicy pickles.
Spicy pickles.
What kind of rapper doesn't like spicy pickles? I literally say that all the time. Like, even if it doesn't even make any sense, I'm like, what kind of native rapper doesn't like spicy pickles?
Yeah.
One thing that I really loved in that episode, because not only, we're talking about Bear and his relationship with his father, but you also get this relationship between Bear's mom, Rita, and and Punkin.
Punkin.
And,
Punkin.
And I loved when the bathroom scene, right? Rita goes in the bathroom and she has to have her moment where she's talking to herself, and you see all this like split characters of Rita, and she's trying to coach herself through it, and do you guys relate to that? Like, do you guys relate to like having to talk to yourself and hype your own self up?
When she had her snag, and you should see his tattoo, I was like, oh, I know that guy. I know that guy.
Right?
I may be related to that guy. It was just, oh my gosh. But I always know it was such a, we even let him in the house. I've actually heard that before. Like people going about natives or non-white people. We even let him in the house. We let him come in the front door. And yeah, I was like, oh, that's gross. This is so gross.
And then he says, she makes an amazing lemonade. What did you put in it? Some Native American recipe? And she's like, mint. And she's like, that's it. He's like, you know what? That's happened to me. Like
mint, I would have been like piss, but whatever.
Look, in so many situations in my life, I've been in a situation where people have to give me is that the Indian way, or is that your indigenous and secret? And it's like, no, I Googled it. Like, what do you like? What? Like, for
got it from a sacred elder. Google.
Well, and then you have the romanticized version of who we are, paralleled with the actual multi-dimensional version of who she is, because the three of her are arguing over something. Oh, we already snagged a doctor, and he's over here saying, oh, and the trees and the whatever and the mint, and it's just a big old eye roll, because you're like, oh, well, no, that is not who I am at all, sir. Thank you very much. Have a good day. I'm out of here. Peace.
Yeah.
And
also,
she just leaves.
Oh, you have a son. Well, he needs a dad. He's got a mom. I was like, oh, I was so grossed out by him.
Hey, his best friend is Lakota.
I laughed out loud so hard because it's coming usually with these wonderful folks. It's either Lakota, and I hate to say it, Paula, but there's Danae. They're either one of those two all the time, or Cherokee. I know they are Cherokee, but their best friends are Lakota or Danae. I don't get it.
We're just great friends. You both
You
know
are.
that.
You are a great friend.
My best friend gets to say that. My best friend is Navajo. And she's really connected to the show. So it's just a really interesting sort of thing that is in the limelight, but is connecting to so many more people than just the Native community. So that's another little thing that I really love about Reservation Dogs.
I mean, Sterling and Taika, and all the great writers behind Reservation Dogs, and the directors as well. I mean, they've done a brilliant job just bringing these stories to life that we all relate to. I mean, Bear's story is not unique. Unfortunately, it's not, and so that's what makes it relatable. And for me, watching this episode was probably the closest episode that I got to have a parallel between Taika's like older work, like when he made Boy, the movie he made Boy, and that was a relationship or a story based on a son really just wanting to connect with his dad. And that's what episode 4 really was for me, is Bear just wanting that relationship with his dad, and he was willing to do whatever it took. He was basically spending his California money, and that was something that was really troublesome for Alora, right? Like we get to that point where she's like, you're looking real good spending my money.
Yeah, I'm really worried for Alora Dan, and I'm really, you can see, and this is not a spoiler because we haven't seen the end. I'm really concerned with when we get to where she's going, because we know that she, of the 4 of them, has less of a reason to stay. Versus we're really seeing Bear. I mean, that end where he's just laying on his mom and he's got a real reason to stay. And even in the first episode, you see that. Cheese, oh my gosh, Cheese is just, I think he's just along for the ride. Literally, if you go to episode 5. But
yeah.
He's just like, cool, we're switching direction, cool, just going. He's just that friend in the background who's just okay with everything and doesn't make any fuss about any decisions that are made about his life. And Cheese, he's so
sweet.
Oh.
And then even Willie Jack, she's got, she does have connections and reasons to stay. And it's Alora Dannon who's starting to, at this point, episode 4, no spoilers because we don't know what's coming. Yeah, I'm really worried for that girl. I'm really, really concerned because as a former teacher, I've seen those students, but also as a kid, I've seen those kids who've been like, I got no reason to be here and I don't want to be here. So we'll see how this unfolds in future seasons and episodes, but I'm really concerned.
But then there's also like that struggle. I feel like all of us as kids who grew up in our communities or near our communities, the struggle of going out into the world, but also had the hesitancy, about that. Like I feel like growing up, it was like face full on forward out of the reservation. Let's leave. Let's go. We're on. I'm out. And here I am to 2021 and I'm back at home near my community, right down the road from my res. And there's that internal struggle of on or off the res, the blinding lights of California or the dark res road, you know what I mean? And I think that's something that I connected with very solely of this.
I mean, for me, and I'm lucky, I'm really blessed, and I can say that, I don't have a story like Bear. I have a strong relationship with my father, and I was able to have him by my side throughout my entire upbringing. But I do know so many.
Stop bragging.
I know. Hey, dad shaming me. All right. No, but I do.
She does
I know
it to everyone. It's
I know
okay.
I have so many cousins, and I know other people that I've connected with throughout my lifetime who have Bear's story, and the idea that you feel lost. You feel lost without, not having that companionship, especially a boy with his father. He had, all he has is his mother and his, in all purposes, that's fine. But I mean, there are things that his mom can't give him that he wants from a father. I mean, and that's his internal dialogue about it, right? I mean, we all can probably say that his mother can give him everything he needs, but you see it in the way this actor who plays Bear, and you see the emotion, you see all his excitement that his dad's coming, and you see the struggle with his mother Rita, who's like, I just want him to show up. I just, please don't just mess this up again. And you see that dialogue with her and Pumpkin saying like, don't mess this up. Be there. Not again. And, I mean, not trying to give you a spoiler, but if you haven't seen episode 4 by now, you guys are living under a rock. He doesn't show. He gives this like really stupid excuse to Bear. And I think that's like the best scene in the whole the show, is that last closing part of the episode where he calls him and says like, oh, something came up. Totally. I can't get my flight. And then he lies to him and he's like, I'll try to charter a jet, and it's just bullshit, right?
Ridiculous. It was ridiculousness.
Yeah.
And unnecessary ridiculousness.
And then you have the mom who's heartbroken for her child, and not being able to do anything about that pain that he's going through. And and it's just really that last moment in the episode, I think it got real, like real. And it was just touching to see how crushed he was and how his mom just was like, I'm sorry, I can't do anything about this. And I'm sorry, but you kind of want to punch somebody in the face.
And you know what? We get to actually ask the questions they don't get to ask, because today we do have Sten Joddi, who played Punkin Lusty, as part of the episode. So that's who we'll be interviewing in now. So like I said, we get more with Punkin Lusty, actually Sten Joddi. Sten Joddi is an enrolled member of the Mvskoke Creek Nation of Oklahoma. He is one of the most prolific underground native hip-hop artists out today. You can currently find him on FX show Reservation Dogs, we were just talking about. He combines his native culture, love for hip-hop, tattoos, and he contributes that, for giving him a really unique sound and struggle, and the untold story that hip-hop and the American people have been blind to for a very long time, growing up and surviving as Native. We just want to welcome you to the show, Sten. Welcome.
Hey, Hinch J, Stone Gold, Sten Joddi, Jeff Gross. Arbika Stomp Grounds is my people, and I'm Coxsaugie Clan of the Mvskoke Creek Nation of Oklahoma. Thank you, blessings to everybody out there, and thank you for having me on your show.
It is our absolute pleasure. We were big fans before you got on the show, before it came out, and so we're really excited to have you here. And we always have a tradition of this show of playing a game with our guests, and in the last few seasons, we have definitively answered the question of, is it Navajo taco or Indian taco? Since we've put that to bed, and we all know it's Indian taco.
It's Indian taco.
Navajo taco.
Indian taco.
we put that to bed. We have a whole new game. So this game is called One Must Go. We're going to give you 4 choices, and in the order that you are keeping us, tell us which one you'll let go. So out of the 4 choices, start with, no, I'm definitely keeping this one, and then tell us why. And we know that you are an amazing musical artist, and so we chose for you 4 rapper producers. And so it is kind of hard, because not only are you getting rid of all their music, but also anyone they've produced, any of the music they produce, any of the artists they've produced along the way. So it's easy, right? So easy. So your choices are Kanye West, Timberland, Jay-Z, Dr. Dre. Tell us who you're keeping and why.
Who I'm keeping or who I'm getting rid of?
Well, you're going to go through who you're keeping, and the last one's who you're getting rid of.
Okay. Well, if we get rid, so I got to start it like this. So if we get rid of Jay-Z, then there's no Kanye.
Right.
Point. Yeah.
Right.
So then I get rid of 2 off top if I do it that way. Dr. Dre, you're pretty much getting rid of the '90s gangster rap with that guy.
Yeah. And Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, all the Eminem, all of it, Snoop Dogg. So, but Timberland, I mean, he's killed the game too. I'm gonna have to just, keep it blunt. I'm just gonna have to be like, I'm gonna have to keep Jay-Z. I'm gonna have to keep Timberland, and I'm gonna have to keep Dr. Dre.
Oh,
So
I
that's just where I'm at because I'm an older head. So the older music would mean more to me than anything that's new that's coming. And to be honest, Kanye hasn't. I mean, he's brought some people along, but he hasn't really done what Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, or Timberland has done in the game. So I mean, again, which is like, whole eras of music with those other guys, and I mean, and it's nothing against Kanye. You guys just gave me the choices, so
no. The thing is, I was like, now we get no Jamie Foxx.
Oh
yeah,
that's the one thing she focuses on.
That was literally, yes.
Well, I mean, he produced some of Jay-Z's stuff, or I mean, Jamie Foxx's stuff, but I wouldn't say he's the one that brought Jay-Z into the game. I would say, Jamie Foxx kind of made his own way with acting into the music.
Oh, yeah.
And but
he'd have got there eventually. Kanye just was like,
he's like, here, hop on my song, homie. So that's kind of what it is. But yeah, I mean, I would just have to say that because Kanye's a beast, but without Jay-Z, he wouldn't have had his shine and time. And, I can't get rid of the 90s California music with Dr. Dre. You just can't get rid of that. And Jay-Z, and Timberland and all them, Timberland brought you Bow Wow to Bubba Sparks and
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah. Timberlake, all them guys, man. It's just it's insane that what he is actually still doing behind the scenes with his music. That you may not necessarily think. Misty Elliott. Like all that. It's just so I'm just gonna have to keep. I'm an 80s baby, 90s kid, so that's where I'm at. Kanye didn't really come into the scene until I was well into my 20s, where I paid attention. You know what I mean? So, that's my answers.
Look, man.
You heard it. My husband was really concerned when I was going through this question. He said, "Now, what if you have him get rid of somebody and they want to put him on next, and now they won't because they heard his take on Wrong Indian."
Because Ye's listening to us right now.
Of course he is. We're that big.
Look, man. She gave me these 4 and I heard her and I was like, you're just not nice, man. You're not nice because look, I'm with you all the way. Totally 80s baby, 90s growing up. And, all these people do contribute. Kanye, look, and this is just my opinion. You guys can throw hate mail at me, but the last 2 things he's made has been, what I consider garbage. But that's just me. That's just me. And,
Kenrick does not speak for the Wrong Indian podcast.
Absolutely not. No, but he has made amazing productions. So it's just a hard thing. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. And you're the first person Brittany's gauntlet of freaking questions. So we'll just go ahead and transition all that, and we'll go right into our first question. And it's going to come from Honeybee Marie. So take it away.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man. It was a hard one. My question is, we all know this episode was hard and it was really hitting home for a lot of us. What was it like to depict Punkin Lusty, the character for the episode? Like, just let me know how it was to prepare and everything for that role?
So when I got the script and I was asked to audition, and it was pretty much the scene where I'm talking to baby mama number 2, and yeah, where I'm talking to her and she's like, why didn't you tell me, you know, you're coming and stuff. And so I kind of got this arrogant ass feeling from him, you know, and this why you bothering me type of vibe, you know, with this. And you know, for me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of youth, not just Native youth or, you know, Indigenous youth, but, you know, all youth out there listening or watching, you know, we all go through those. The people that can relate to this is the ones that may have an absent parent. That it's not that we don't love our parents, or it's not that we don't love the significant other that, you know, or we don't want to see them succeed, you know, in their dreams or whatever the case may be. You know, we got a lot of those people that, you know, their dreams are more important than their family or their kids. And that might even mean just a regular job, or, you know, you want to be a doctor or something and you're always gone on call and you're never with your family. I mean, it could get deeper into everything. It doesn't just have to be this rapper guy trying to chase a rap dream. I think at the end of the day, he's more addicted to the party life and hanging out with his friends than he is with his family, or trying to make that connection and that relationship grow in that way. And you know, growing up myself, I, you know, had that absent parent after I was about 12, 13. He kind of just had to do his own thing. And, you know, I still love my dad, and, you know, we've grown from that. And, but at the same time, it was something I had to deal with growing up, and be right there at the pinnacle time, just like Bear in the show. You know, he's at this pinnacle point where he's trying to learn to become a man. And, and so it's definitely weighing on him how he should approach life. And he just really doesn't have, you can see it in the episode. He's going from man to man, like asking different things. And he's like, yo, what do you think? What do you think? Because he doesn't have that, right? Like, he doesn't have that man at home to be like, yo, like, what should I be doing, Pops? You know what I mean? Like, how should I treat a woman? How should I react to moment decisions that might hurt my future? You know, should I just walk away, or should I step up and fight? Should I do this? Should I do that? And, you know, I needed that as well growing up. And to be honest, being this character, it really wasn't acting. It really wasn't like preparing for anything. It was pretty much literally me just going back in my brain and reproducing the conversations I had with my dad at times. In my situation, it was him coming to baseball games or football games. And, you know, he lived about 2 hours, 3 hours south of me, or so I was supposed to. I'm not sure, you know, but I would get a hold of him, or, you know, hey, you going to come to the game? And, you know, we got a home game, you know, this and that. And, you know, the day of the game, it would be, you know, oh, I got a flat tire, or I don't have the gas money to make it, boy, you know, or this came up or that came up. And, you know, so it was definitely like, oh man, like, I can definitely do this guy. This is not going to be hard, you know, but I'm further from who that person is. Right. Like, so, you know, I'm with my wife and my daughters and my sons, and you know, I think coming up that way, it definitely built me into the man that I'm supposed to be. And I even had times, you know, in my young fatherhood with my first daughter when she was born with my wife. And, you know, I had those struggles too on what a father should be, because I didn't have one. So like that, you know, like, I knew what a dad was when I was a kid, like, you see your dad as a Superman, and then, he kind of leaves, and then you're kind of like, do you still see him as a Superman as he used to be? Or do you have these salty feelings and, abandonment issues? And, you got to lean on your moms, man. And I know, vice versa, though, also, if it's your mom that dipped out and you're leaning on your pops, or maybe both of your parents left and you're leaning on your grandparents.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
it's definitely something that, again, not only Indigenous youth are dealing with, but, all youth out there are dealing with this in some type of way. And, that conversation that Bear had with his mom in that car, man, like, that was some real shit. I'm just gonna keep it blunt, man. That's like, that was almost per bed. Like, I didn't even write the show. I have nothing to do with the writing of the show. I don't have nothing to do with none of that. But that shit was like verbatim what me and my mom had our conversation at one point in my life. And it's really crazy to watch, because this is the first time I've ever did this. This is the first time I've acted or anything. But like, I'm used to seeing myself on videos. I'm used to seeing myself on like TikTok and, shit like that. So, but it was just really weird to watch it. And the whole time, I just put myself in Bear's position. And even sitting there knowing I'm playing the dad, I'm still like, I'm Bear. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, it's almost cool, because I always sat with myself sometimes. This is just by myself thinking like, man, I wish I could just tell my young self a few things, and it's like, now I can, like, literally, all these young people are listening now. And even some of us adults, that are going through the same thing, that we might be a single parent and we might have to be telling our kids these things, where it's like, we know you love your parent, but sometimes, they get down a road that, it's a tunnel vision for them, and all they see is what they want. And, so with that being said, it really wasn't acting. I mean, now that I explained that, it wasn't an act. It was definitely me just being that bad guy that they needed me to be in that situation. And yeah, now I'm getting craziness over that. You know what I mean? But
which is a really good like segue into like my question. But before I even do that, you did say like, you didn't write it, but you did act. And the ego that you gave, I mean, first of all, it came off to me like really funny, like especially in the beginning, right? Like when you pick up that phone call and I can see like you were trying to have a swagger to yourself about it, and then like immediately she's like, were you gonna tell me people are talking about you, and you're like, people are talking about me at Red Lobster. It's like, like, oh my God, like your character like obviously had to know she worked at IHS, but you were just giving her like that crap,
Yeah.
So I love that. I love that you were able to like really put that on screen. But you're right. You are getting a lot of backlash, and I would like to say it's unnecessary backlash. And so my question to you is, do you get offended when you get some criticism about your character saying that you're appropriating Black culture? I mean, like, I think the most ridiculous thing I heard was like based on your dreadlocks, as if they don't even realize you have braids.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were trying to basically say Black appropriation is being a deadbeat dad.
Yeah, I just felt like I really didn't. I did want to address some things. I kind of did a little bit, but then I kind of backed away, because at the end of the day, it's like, you blow more air into the fire and it's just going to grow. And any negativity, I don't want any of that like to bring the show down as a whole, or like overshadow the show and how important it is that it's actually portraying things in Eastern Oklahoma, Tulsa, pretty much to a T. I mean, we're pretty much engulfed with each other there in that community, from Black to, you know, the Hispanic community to the Native Americans to the white community there. I mean, it's a very diverse place, and trying to appease everyone probably is never going to happen. I think that we can definitely grow from the suggestions that are being made. I think that we can start to understand each other a little more now. I mean, this is the first show like this, so and it's not even over. You know, we just got a second season, so I mean,
Yes.
there's so much room. Right. So and it's not even over, and they're already like second season. You don't have to wait. And I think that with that, it's definitely going to bring those criticisms. And in the past, I definitely am a type of guy that, you know, is a non-filtered dude, and I just say what I feel. But at the same time, I don't want to give gas to things that really don't need my attention. And it you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you don't deserve my platform for me to speak on some things. You know, I worked very hard to get to where I'm at. It's not just an overnight thing, although some people might feel that way. Some people might see me for the first time and think, oh, this guy came out of nowhere and he's just been doing this since last week, and now we're gonna get him. And you know, I've been doing this. I've dealt with that my whole life, man. I'm a native rapper. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I get it from all sides, man. Like, you know, I get it from my natives saying, you know, why you gotta act black. I get it from the black community. Damn, man, you know, you can't be doing that, you know. And at the same time, I you know, I'm half white, so then it's like, well, you know, you're not white enough to be white either. You know what I mean? And at the end, you know, so I've juggled that my whole life, just being a native kid coming up in Oklahoma, period, and trying to be a rapper. Look, I love it. I love hip hop. Hip hop is not exclusive to only black community. Yes, it is deeply rooted in the black community, and I respect it 150 million%. But we have contributors of all races in hip hop music, and not just rapping and MCing. You know, you have graffiti art, you have fashion, you have the b-boy dances, you have the DJs. And I mean, it goes deeper than just being a rapper on TV or a rapper on a music video, man. I mean, hip hop is a full on lifestyle. And at the end of the day, I indigenize my hip hop. You know, I indigenize what I do, pretty much anything that I do. And, you know, that's what I want to, you know, at the end of the day, it's almost like saying, hey, you know, you shouldn't be a doctor because you're Indian. You know, you shouldn't go to be a lawyer because you're Indian. You should stay, you know, in traditional ways and don't go that way. And, you know, that's not cool to pretty much you're giving the youth an ultimatum, and you're telling them, you know, you must choose us or them. And that's where I mean, I'm sorry to say that's where we're losing our kids, man. I mean, that's where a lot of kids are, you know, self-harming themselves. We're losing our youth at crazy rates with the suicide rates going on right now. And, you know, I'm not saying that's the only factor, but if you have your elders making you make a choice, you know, we also need to wake up and listen and have faith that the youth are going to make good choices. And we need to give them the opportunity to make a mistake. We need to give them that. But at the same time, you know, give them that tough love that we grew up with. That's a good thing. But at the end of the day, this is going to be something that is new to elders, and they don't know how to attack this, right? They don't know how to attack this part right here. Like, we're on the internet. Look at this. Oh my God, what do I do with my hands? Right? Like,
I was just thinking that.
right?
I know, like, don't hit the mic.
So like that's the thing. It's like they don't know the first thing about connecting in this way, and this is for the first time in history that natives are connected in this way. And without the internet, there would have never been Idle No More. Without the internet, there would have never been a Standing Rock. There would have never been a call to action. There would have never been that Facebook Live post that little girl made that made everybody go there and help her. It would have never been any of that. And at the end of the day, man, like, we must embrace this new future that we're in, that we have already began to indigenize this internet culture, this thing that's happening with us. And, we're making it where it's hard to explain. It's going to be this next level thing where, everybody is going to be so connected, and that we'll be able to tell our stories. We're able to be who we want to be, and also hold those traditional teachings, hold those things that our elders give us, hold those things, and again, indigenize whatever you're doing in your life. We've sat on the fence of this culture our whole existence. We've had one foot in traditions, and we've had one foot in the capitalized America machine that we live in. And if you're not in both areas constantly, you kind of not succeeding the right way, in a certain way. If you want to be in this culture that has a job, and you want money, and you want a car, and you want things, also there is that traditional way, and there's happy indigenous people living that way, and they don't need a phone, and they don't need a TV, and I respect that way too. But at the same time, our youth are engulfed in this constantly. They're going to be they're going to listen to music they want to listen to. They're going to watch the shows they want to watch. They're going to idolize certain heroes that they want. And what better than to give them indigenous heroes and indigenous people to correlate and relate to. It's time. It's time, I think, and it's way overdue. Whether or not I was a part of this show or not, I would be an advocate for it. I would be pushing for it. It wouldn't matter if I was on this show or anything. And I think that we need to get past this. Let's judge every single little thing about it. And I think we need to just let it grow and accept that this is the first show, but not the only show, right? I think more movies, more TV shows, more entertainers, more comedians, more things are just going to start coming out of everywhere. And they're going to be indigenous. And I think it's time for us to embrace these different perspectives and individuals. Even though they are indigenous, I still think they're all still individuals themselves, and we need to start embracing everybody as them and celebrating it. I think we don't celebrate it enough. I think we just sit and we point that finger and we go, well, how come it isn't this way, and why do they say that, and why did they do this? And I think the show is actually, I know it gets cringy, right? Like the show gets cringy, like, oh, I don't know if I should be watching this, or, oh, like if you're non-indigenous, you're probably thinking that, right? Like, oh, should I laugh at this? Is this okay for me to laugh at? Like, what is going on? What do they mean by Skoden? What does that mean? And
traditional Indian language.
I think that's what it's supposed to do. I think it's supposed to make you feel a little uncomfortable, at the same time enjoying it. And I think you're supposed to be like, what the hell? I think you're supposed to have those feelings sometimes. And just like before the show even started, you had a lot of commercials going out, and it was like the thieving part, right? They were stealing stuff, and like a lot of people, there was a lot of buildup of like, oh, especially a lot of elders that they were really going against this show because all they're gonna think is all we are is a bunch of thieving natives on the res. If you keep on, oh, they're just gonna think we're just, and I'm like, look here, man, you got to watch the show and see, these are things you can't really address. You just got to let the show ride, man. And, until times like this, I feel like now you get to say something because it's already passed and the show's went and the episode, because in that episode, if you watch it halfway through, he catches a conscience. He's like, yo, man, we want to get out of this bad place, but what if we're the reason it's bad, man?
Yeah.
And it's like, boom,
So there's two things I want to touch on with what you've just said, because yes to everything. First is, I think a lot of times we, particularly when it comes to new things, we, our elders and us, and even the other generations, have seen how technology has been weaponized against us so hard that we do become fearful of it. And that is absolutely, I definitely see how our elders are. I mean, even my tribe, we just got a website, y'all. It is 2020, 2021. Come on now, a website. But anyway, so I see how guarded a lot of that has been, but also we were and are modern peoples. So even in the point of civilization disruption, because we were civilizations, please make no mistake, at the point of civilization disruption, we would have continued. There's no telling why we could have been Wakanda in America. So I find it very interesting that when folks want to talk about decolonizing, that it goes back to the point of civilization disruption. It's not about, no, we still are very much contributors to our modern society, and shows like this allow us to tell our story in a way that is authentic to who we are. So yeah, we may steal a chip van, but yeah, we may also have phallic medallions. But moving away from that a little bit, and we kind of touched on in the game but I want to know a little bit more about your musical inspirations. Where do you pull from when you're thinking about your raps, your music, all of that? Because even before this show, you've been a rapper. You've been around a while.
Yeah. I mean, I started rapping when I was about 13, tattooing when I was about 13. It was kind of the two things that always kind of came up in my life that the universe and the creator was trying to like throw at me, like, here, this is what you should be doing, kid. And then again, getting caught up in this world of what you should do and what people want you to do. So I tried to do all of that, and those influences are many. We talked about pretty much 4 of them at the beginning of this show that had to do a lot with my coming up. And I mean, you have Tupac and Biggie, and DMX is a huge one for me too. I even got to shout out the grandfather of native hip hop, Lightfoot, man. I definitely had his album playing back home.
If you haven't been to a Lightfoot concert,
yeah, right.
Native.
Right. And at the end of the day, all those things are correlated into who I am. But I really didn't start honing in on my way of creating music. I always, again, even with music, when I was starting out, I was always trying to appease others and what they might want to hear, so I'd make music that they might want to hear. So there's that. And then, but now it's more about my family. A lot of things is about having that ego way down. I'm not a Punkin Lusty at all. And, so my ego and my humbleness is way up here. I'm very humility to the fullest. And, I know I'm not perfect. I know I make mistakes. I know that I came from a certain upbringing that isn't an excuse to be a certain type of way, and that should be for nobody. But at the same time, that environment creates the person that you are, kind of, and it definitely has a big influence on who you are. And with my music, I'm more of a reality rapper. So I rap about a lot of reality that I see, whether it be reality that I know one of my homeboys is going through, reality of myself, I'm going through it, or whether just stuff that I see. It's definitely just me, being me. And when I finally found that, I think that's when a lot of people started to take notice and started to really listen to my music more and more, and started to connect to it. I mean, I have 6 studio albums out on iTunes and everywhere, any music platform you want. But I mean, I've been out even before that. I had like 6 albums before that under a different rap name, before 2011. And I'd had music with a whole other 2 different groups of rappers before that too. And so like, I've been really like chipping away at this hip hop thing for a long, long, long time. And I've grown in myself, like I said, there was a point where I was kind of a punk and lusty, where I felt like my dreams were more important, like I said, than my firstborn, my wife. And I was making a lot of choices and decisions, with not them. I mean, they were in my mind, and in my mind, I was doing it for them. But, ultimately and consequentially, I was hurting them. I wasn't there. And, I had to make that twist and change, and become a real man, at like 25 or something, you know what I mean? And a lot of people don't understand. And then a lot of people do understand that, we're always going to grow from our mistakes. And if you're not willing to grow from your mistakes, then, that's something that, will keep you down, and it'll keep you in that hole or that dark place. And, my music reflects that. I come from nothing, man. I come from being homeless, sleeping under bridges, and sleeping on a couch when I could, pretty much literally living on greasy fry bread and water for a very long time. And it was a rough road until I met my wife, and she kind of gave me that missing puzzle, man, where I didn't really think I was lovable. I didn't think that, I deserved love. I didn't think that I could even love anybody, so that definitely reflects in my music these days. And I pay homage to my wife and my kids all the time throughout my music. And, without them and without music and without tattoos, I'd probably be dead or in prison, and at this point, that's where I'm at. And I'm just grateful and thankful to just be a little bit a part of this show. And, it's an amazing feeling to be able to know that these kids, or even our peers and our elders, get to turn on a TV and see ourselves, and I mean, it's crazy, man. It really is. And I'm just appreciative to Sterling and Taika and Mid Thunder Casting and all the people, Lil Mike and Funny Bone. I don't know. There's a little backstory. I don't know if they dropped my name to maybe some producers, or Mid Thunder Casting seen me out here on the internet somewhere. But shout out to both of those entities. They put me on to put me in that ear of Sterling and Taika, and they wanted to see me do this. So, definitely grateful and thankful for all that. You know what I mean?
Hey, those two are definitely the OGs as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say DJ Lightfoot without saying Little Mike and Funny Bone. I mean,
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, they're there, man. They've been there, they got their little shine on AGT years back, and they've just been grinding that wave, man, and that's how you're supposed to grind that wave, you know what I mean? You're supposed to grind that wave in that way, and because you never know when the wave's going to fall down, you know what I mean? So you just got to keep grinding away, put your message out there, and if it's a good message, the people are going to know it. You don't have to fake the funk, you know what I mean? You just do you, and be you, and people are going to accept it when they relate. There are no lies, you know what I mean? So what it is.
Oh, that's such an amazing message. And you mentioned that, without music and tattoos, you wouldn't be where you're at, or, we wouldn't even have a direction, right? Your tattoos are amazing. I'm a big tattoo fan. Which one
Thank you.
is your most, and you're covered, which one is your most memorable tattoo and the story behind it?
Oh, oh Lord. I mean, I would have to say my favorite tats are the tattoos of my family. I have my daughter's name, my youngest daughter's name here. I have my oldest and my middle daughter, and then I have my wife on my face here. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how much to explain on that. That's just like my heart right there, There were painfuler ones.
yeah.
So it gets easier.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't ever get easy. They always hurt. But there were some rough ones. A lot of my tattoos were growing pains, if you want to call them that. Me learning how to tattoo was tattooing on myself. Me, doing all my stuff on my own, and like all here, I pretty much did almost all those tattoos.
I don't even know.
I can't. Okay, let me be very clear. I am I'm a clean board over here, because me and needles don't get along. I admire it. I think it's beautiful, but you did it to yourself. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have chest work, and I couldn't imagine you like tattooing your stomach. I mean,
I tattooed my whole stomach. Yeah,
man. Like I pulled away when I first felt that needle on my chest. I was like, "What are you doing? Like, what am I doing?"
So, as the tattooist, I'm tattooing myself. I can stop when I want. If you're not the guy with the gun, then you're pretty much at the helm of that guy. So. But me, if I'm usually I would be next to a mirror. Now I don't look in the mirror while I'm tattooing, but
then you get regrets.
I'll look, yeah, right. So I look in the mirror, and then I'll kind of look down where I'm at, and then I'll tattoo, and it was just, again, it was growing pains. At first, it was really all sketchy, really bad work. And it still kind of is on this arm. It's kind of crazy. It makes no sense. But every one of them, I could tell you what I was doing, where I was at, who I was around, what kind of stupid things I was doing and under the influence of. And, it's just kind of a story of life. It not necessarily the dopest piece of work, right? Like, but it's definitely a chapters in my life I have. And, that's something that, over the years it got better. I covered some things up. I've made things look better than they were when I first put them on myself. And again, we change and we grow, and we learn from mistakes. It's all a part of that story of life, man. That
Oh no.
Technology. Oh man.
Oh, I can listen to this for hours.
For those of you at home, this is
Tribal broadband is real.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. I'm
Digital
surprised
divide.
I haven't clipped out.
Apologize.
We're
I'm here.
all right.
Hey,
we're
got
back.
him. Oh man.
My
We
bad.
were just
It
saying
dropped
that,
out.
that's okay. We were saying
man,
the digital
red life.
divide is real.
Yes, it is.
So, man, first of all, I totally relate with all your tattoos. I mean, I think like for me myself, like I have a lot of family on me as well, and like you, I can like pinpoint where I was, what I was doing, so these definitely have stories, So,
Right.
but I think one thing, I don't think unless there's people like, those ride or die fans who've been with you for a while. I mean, a lot of people really got introduced to you with Reservation Dogs. So what they
Yeah.
might not know, not only one, you're not the character you play. That's important.
Right.
And then two, you had a huge transformation yourself. I mean, you used to be a big res boy, you used to be a big boy, and
about 325. Yep.
Yeah, see that? Yeah, and then you got into some fitness, and you started dieting, and I think like one of the first TikTok videos I ever like found of you when I was first going through all that is you trying to tell people, which is ironic now. You were telling
isn't it? Right?
Yeah, you were telling people, yo, fry bread isn't our food.
Hey, and I still stand by that, even though the show and the success of the Greasy Fry Bread song and stuff, and even with that, and it's the ironic thing in the show that he's coming to an anti-diabetes conference to sing Greasy Fry Bread.
You should have heard us talking about that.
I definitely still stand by that statement that it's not an indigenous traditional food. It's definitely a colonized survival food that they gave us, and wherever it had come from, right? Like whether it was a European idea of survival food and they brought it to us because they knew that people could live off of that, then they give it to us, whatever the case may be. It's very bad for us. It's so bad. It's so bad. But it's so good, right? Like, it's good too. But at the end of the day, we've made it into our own, right? So we've made it into a tradition. Again, this is something that isn't necessarily our culture, but we have indigenized it, right? So we have indigenized it, and no matter where you go, what powwow you're at or an event, man, there's a fry bread stand, and it is what it is. And there's aunties and uncles around that fire with that skillet, you know what I mean? And they're getting it in, but I still stand by that, man, and that's kind of what. My family, and I didn't have a doctor come to me and tell me, yo, you got heart disease, you're pre-diabetic, you need to do this. And it really wasn't that. I was sitting on this couch you're looking at right now, and I was sitting here and my kids were out there playing in the yard, and I was just watching them, and I was thinking, man, and my kids were like, come out here and play, Dad. And I'm like, I'm tired, I mean? I don't want to, you just keep on playing, whatever. And something just, I don't know what it was. I really don't. My daughter walked up to the porch and I was looking at her and I was thinking, man, am I going to really be here for her like graduation? Am I going to be here for her wedding? Am I going to be here for her first child? I might be here for my two oldest, but am I going to be here for hers? And at the end of the day, it was something that, I can't blame anybody else but myself, right? Like you can't, it's no different than, picking up that gun and putting it to your forehead, man. And we have that choice to not do that, right? Like we're all human. We have that free will to not do the things we know we're not supposed to do. And just because you get the Diet Coke doesn't mean that it's diet, right? Like Just
Yeah.
because, you go to church, doesn't mean you're going to get to heaven, right? Like, just because you say you're doing something doesn't mean that you're not doing something just as bad on the other side. I always put it like this, I always have to use it in this way because I was brought up Christian. I was brought up a Southern Baptist in Oklahoma, Bible Belt, right? So, uh, you know, eating on Sunday after church was it's like a staple, right? Like
Yep.
everybody
Absolutely.
brings food after church on
Mhm.
a Sunday. And all you do is see everybody eating. And everybody just eats and fills their faces. And at the end of the day, uh, and and this is just for those religious people that might be fighting this idea on how they should lose the weight or why they should. I put it this way because it's like you're sinning and you're preaching about sinning this whole week and you're doing bad things and you need to ask for forgiveness and you're not going to get into heaven if you kill somebody or you do some bad sins. You're not going to get there. And I say, well, gluttony is a sin as well, right? So no matter how many churches you go to or how many preachers you shake hands with or how many Hail Marys you say, you're still going to go to hell under that idea, right, of a sin. And, no matter what, I don't care if you're a sober native or if you're a sober human, and, gluttony is going to get you straight to the bottoms, right, where Marilyn or whatever his name is, Manson and all these crazy fools are going to be sitting. That's the thing. We have to realize that our health, and it has nothing to do with your external physical appearance. If you're a healthy person, if you're eating well and exercising well and keeping yourself active, that's all you can do. You don't have to go a million times percent like I did. You don't have to do it that hard or that fast or whatever. Um, but I had that in my head, that I'm just killing myself, right? Slowly. And
Right.
and Morgan Freeman came in my head from Lean on Me, right? Like
Really?
that's what came into my brain. It was like you're killing yourself, boy. Why don't you just jump? Just jump and do it expeditiously. Quit playing with it.
Yeah.
And that's what goes through my brain. And it's like here's a soda pop, here's a double cheeseburger, here's some French fries, here's some greasy fry bread, here's this and and it's like, well, I don't want to die, but I really like cheeseburgers, and it's like, yeah, but we're doing this to ourselves. Nobody's making us. The spoon doesn't make us fat, right? It,
Exactly.
it it's
Yeah.
ourselves, we make these decisions. And when I decided to do that, I had to really be that asshole in my head to kick that lazy piece of shit out of there. He's still in there. He still kind of pops up early in the morning every now and then and wants me to just go back to bed. But his voice is very little now. It was really big at first. It was very hard for me to get up out of bed. It was very hard, but I did it because I looked at my daughter and I told her I'm gonna do it. And I looked at my kids and my wife and I told them this is what I'm gonna do. And it wasn't for anything but myself and being there for my kids later. Now, the physical appearance and me losing the weight and me not being so fry bread roundish, then that's a bonus.
Yeah.
That's a bonus, but that's not what I did it for, right? Like I do it every day. I go every day, every single day. Only Sundays. Today I did not go, but only Sundays I don't go anymore. But I used to go every day, even on Sundays, and I would even do a home workout at night around 7 o'clock. So I was doing 2 times a day, and that was probably for the first whole year. And
Mm.
I will say that exercising isn't going to help the physical appearance. Now, you may exercise to the fullest every day and not lose a pound. It's all
Preach,
what you're
preach.
eating. It's
Oh
all
man.
what you're eating afterwards, that after that workout. It's what you're eating on your days off. It's what you're eating, or what you're not eating, right? Like, I stopped eating beef. I stopped eating pork. I stopped drinking dairy milk.
Hmm.
I eat turkey, chicken, fish, seafood, vegetables, fruits, lots of vegetables. At first, I didn't. I wasn't a vegetable person. I didn't really like raw vegetables, so I started off with V8s. Right. I would, like, every time I get hungry, I just smash a V8. I know it's really sodium salted, but if you're working out and you're sweating daily, that salt comes
Mm.
out not through your liver, not through your kidneys, but through your sweat pores. Right. So you can intake that salt if you're willing to work out. Um, you just have to know your own body as well, what you can and what you like. You have to find something you like to eat, right? Don't go looking on what uh, Johnny over there is eating, or Cindy over there is eating, and ask her, well, what are you eating? And let me try that. You need to find what you like to eat, and then, you know, eat that, because I searched for breakfast foods for a long time and I fell onto these avocados, and I just take raw sliced avocados, put them on a little piece of toast and put some olive oil on it and put your favorite seasoning. I put like Cajun seasoning on mine and I smash it every single morning. That is my breakfast. Every single morning I eat. That's what I eat because I love it. It's not that I eat it and I'm telling myself, well, you got to eat these avocados, boy. That's not what I'm doing to myself. That's where we lose. We
Yes.
lose because then you're doing things that you don't like to do, and then you make an excuse not to do it because you just don't like doing it. You have to find workouts that you like to do. You have to find things in the gym that you like to do. Don't do things that are going to discourage you. And definitely, if you're on that journey, do not stand on a scale. Just quit. Don't do that to yourself. Throw the fucking scale out the damn door, man. For real. It's true, because the first time you go on there and you don't see a result, you're mad. You go grab the ice cream and you sit down and watch Friends. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. You know?
Well,
Yeah, right.
so I mean, we could talk to you for hours, and you're just gonna have to come. I mean, I think the only thing is you're just gonna have to come back, and we'll
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
do more of this. So I do want to let the folks know, or at least you let the folks know, where can we find you outside of
Everywhere,
everywhere?
everywhere,
Where?
everywhere, everywhere on the internet. Now you could Google me and it'll give you all the sites I'm on, all the music that if you're looking for music. You already know Hulu and FX for Res Dogs, and I'm on every major platform in music. You just type in my name in the search bar, and you'll enjoy whatever you want to enjoy. There's 6 albums for you to thumb through. I'm sure you'll find at least one song on there that you can relate to, indigenous, non-indigenous. I'm very versatile in expressing my story, and I'm also pretty much on every social media out there too. Find me on Instagram and Facebook, and Twitter if you want. I mean, Twitter's kind of crazy these days, but I'm on there too.
uh,
But yeah, other than that, I just like to tell the youth out there, don't get discouraged. Don't don't give up on your dreams. No matter, because at the end of the day, youngsters, nobody will understand your dream like you understand your dream. So don't limit yourself with other people's ideas of success. Don't worry about the likes or the views. Just do you and be you, and somebody will relate. Whether you want to be an artist, whether you want to be a rapper or singer, whether you want to be, man, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or architect or engineer, don't listen to nobody about your designs or what school you should go to, or if it has a indigenous alma mater or not. You know, just shoot for that dream and go 120,000%, because nothing is halfway, right? We hear that, oh, you have to meet your dreams halfway, or you have to meet the creator halfway. That's a lie. That's a lie. You cannot meet nobody halfway. You're gonna have to meet them like 99.9999% of the way. And I'm talking scratching, digging, reaching, and broken and hurt and scars and bleeding. You're gonna go through some things. I'm telling you this right now, it's not gonna be easy, and you're gonna feel like giving up all the time. But don't. And you know, if anything, you know, I was homeless with nothing. And I come from nothing, man. And if I can do it and I can stick through it and not leave this earth in a way that, you know, would have dishonored my family, you don't have to do that either. One day and every day is a new day to be a better you and to build a better life, you know. And that's not just words off of my song. That's real life stuff right there. You know, if you're feeling that way, just know that there's another day out there to make everything right. And thank you guys for having me on the show, man. I'm always that wrong Indian as well, so you
Look,
know.
man,
Well, welcome to the family.
yeah, well, yeah, welcome for yeah. Look, we have certain guests that we just bring them in, and that we always bring them in. And I just feel that. I feel that with you. I feel like we have a strong connection, and I believe your message, especially what you're telling the kids, is important. You know,
Yeah.
we all have a story to tell. We all have perspectives, and I believe your perspective is important. You know, because you're right. I think we as natives, as indigenous people, not only as a youth, but like in our lives, like we all deal with
Yeah.
all those things that you're talking about. You know, we always have that. It's either one or the other. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know,
We can't do
and
that.
It's not
yeah,
one or the other. It's always a both and.
right,
Yeah.
You
exactly.
want to talk about indigenizing something? There you go. Because that's when you're in the colonized world, and that is the message that they send. But when you realize that you are at choice, that's when you're liberated,
Mm.
Just
Hmm.
remember,
and
That's
you are
all that
always
matters.
at choice.
we have more
You know, and
than one direction.
that's it. You
Four, we
know,
have seven, we have up, down, sideways, all ways.
that's it. And you can indigenize all those directions. You know, we can go
Exactly.
everywhere. You know, who knows? We're gonna be on Mars. They're gonna try to take that. No.
No, we're going to warn the Martians.
Yeah, like, hey, watch out, they coming, bro.
Look, man. I mean, I don't know who better to start this sacred season 4 and
Hey,
for our episode number 1, but with Sten Joddi, man. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for creating like this awesome character that we either love or hate,
Or
and
we had our own daddy issues with.
yeah, man. So all I really can say for myself, and I hope for everybody else in the squad here, is that we definitely want to see you back here. We definitely want to get you in season 5, season 6, season 7, and just keep, you know, let's all grow together, man.
mado. Thank you, man. I appreciate y'all. And blessings times a million trillion thousand. Y'all have a blessed day.
Same to you.